Hey, folks, John Cantera, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, and welcome to another episode of the Tic Toc Diner. Today, we're going to have a very interesting guest. If you all follow the Box Truck Hustle podcast, we have Telly with us to talk to us about StraightConnect, the new platform that she's launching. It should be a real interesting show. So stick around. We're coming up.
For the Freight Fraud Task Force, welcome to the Tic Toc Diner Podcast, where we serve up freight fraud with a side of prevention. Grab a menu and have a seat. Your server will be right with you. Here is your head chef and host, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, John Cantera.
Oh, yes, it's another soulful day in freight. Gotta love this business. Telly, how you doing? So glad you could join us today.
Thank you for inviting me. And I must say, I love that intro. I need to step mine up.
Well, this is the second week that I've run that intro, and I've had good feedback on it. There's still some things I'm trying to tweak with it, but you only get so many AI credits for doing videos and stuff like that. And since I don't have a producer, I'm doing all this stuff myself. It becomes kind of crazy. And I see we have Derrick at Fast Lane with us. How you doing, Derrick?
Hey, what's going on?
It's another day in paradise. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about doing this show is because you take me back to my roots. When I got started in the trucking industry, I started off dealing with box trucks. I had a small fleet of box trucks doing local residential delivery for then it was XPO, and then later for Estes, which was a great business for me until COVID really started kicking around, and COVID unfortunately killed my company. But that's neither here nor there. But I've always had an affinity for box trucks. In fact, on my phone, my background is the very first truck that I leased from Penske. I will always treasure my truck, but that's neither here nor there. First off, let's start off with your show. I love the hell out of your show, Box Truck Hustle. You're doing a fantastic job with it. How many episodes have you done now?
I think we're coming up on episode 19. So
I'm right on par with this one.
I'm being very consistent.
That's good. Yeah. I see your ads coming out every week for it. And what do you try to teach in your show? What do you present?
So it's really about education, because a lot of people rely on social media and some of these social media influencers, and to me they're not getting a full picture of what it is to run a box truck. And so I came up with the idea with another young lady, Shanique, who's in the box truck industry with me. And she was like, hey, we should create a podcast. And so I was like, you know what? Let me get this going. And so, of course, I thought of asking Derrick to do it because he has a side of the business and speak a different way, that we all have different perspectives. I think we all can agree that there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to the box truck industry. People are posting how much they're making, but they're not posting all the expenses that come with it. And I don't like how people are getting in this industry and then they're going broke like within a month or two, losing thousands of dollars because they don't realize you need to know your cents per mile. You need to have a maintenance reserve. You need to hire a good driver who's going to represent your brand. It's not just about delivering the loads. And you need to make sure you're watching out for fraud, because people don't know how serious the fraud is in this industry. So
amen to that. Amen to that. Derrick, what's your part in all this?
Well, I met Telly first through a Facebook group that we stole and end up cleaning up real well. So we developed a relationship and learned about each other through that. But I started a box truck business about a year and a half ago, something that I had been inquiring about for a little while. So studied up on it and everything. Found me a box truck locally here in Atlanta area, and bought it cash. It was 2012 Freightliner, and then once then got me a driver, put the driver in it, and just did it the old fashioned way. Just started from day one of my authority, and just was getting loads from TQL daily because nobody else wanted to work with us. And then eventually just just grinding through it, and doing good work. Other people started working with me. Some people brought us on early, and it started doing well and a lot better. So planning to hopefully eventually scale. But like I said, hooked up with Telly and a good group of people, man. We just been learning and bouncing stuff off of each other. And when we came up with the box truck hustle podcast and everything, I just wanted to come along and be able to give my 2 cents on it. I really try to attack it like a business. I know a lot of these guys who and gals who get into it don't attack it like a business, and that's one of the things that hurt them, is just like a hustle to them. And it's a hustle, but it has to be a business hustle, because at the end of the day, if you're not doing good business, you'll be out of it in 90 days.
Exactly.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. One of the things that I learned very early on when I started my company is it's all about the brand, and you got to keep the brand going. Clean trucks, clean lines, proper signage. I mean, seriously, if you put two box trucks together, you got one with a nice intricate a vinyl decal with a nice logo and all that stuff, clean truck, and you put it next to the guy who's got a piece of cardboard taped to his window with his DOT number. Who are you going to pick?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, it's just crazy. And there's such an influx of people getting into the box truck world. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like it has a lot to do with the non-domicile CDLs. We've seen a lot of non-domicile CDLs get chopped out of the industry, and they seem to be transitioning to the non-CDL side, whether that's box trucks and sprinter vans. But that's kind of what I'm seeing.
I think it probably happened earlier on too, because that's how I found out about box trucks on social media. And going off of people saying it's an easy entry, you can rent a truck, you can do this, and you can start making money. I think people are looking at that aspect of it too, not just the non-CDL people are coming into this industry, but I think also a lot of people are coming into this industry looking at social media influencers and thinking that, oh, I can make six figures. Yes, you can make six figures in revenue, but what is your profit? So I think people are not getting the full picture of the box truck industry, in my opinion. I definitely feel like we're going to feel the effects of non-domicile CDLs coming to our industry. But I think also that aspect has already been happening, especially since COVID, especially from COVID as well, too.
Well, post-COVID, the box trucks did see a huge bump in rates, which is what drew a lot of people into the box truck side. Are we seeing the same thing here? The rest of the industry is seeing large rate spikes. Some are equating it to COVID. What are we seeing in the box truck world as far as rates go?
I haven't seen much of a jump on my side. I can't say what Derrick could say, but we've been asking, especially with the fuel prices, we have been very much diligent with our negotiation. It's like we will sit, and we have set, and we can't take stuff we can't take loads where it doesn't make sense. We just cannot do that anymore. It's a detriment to our business. And we're being a lot more particular about the deadhead miles. We're trying to keep it as low as possible. And when we're negotiating, we're also now including those deadhead miles when we're asking for a particular amount on our load. So sometimes we're getting some really good paying loads, but sometimes they're not budging. I just saw a load going to Wisconsin, and they're like, the most we could do is 1,400. And I'm like, with the price of fuel, we need at least 1,600 to 1,800 to go to Wisconsin from where are we at? We're in Virginia. and you're only charging $1,400. Yeah, $1,400.
I think they're kind of playing off of the fact the East Coast has been very soft on rates, particularly on the coast itself. Coming out, when I was dispatching box trucks, I did everything I could to avoid coastal cities, and especially the Northeast. I would never go north of New Jersey. In most cases, never north of Delaware, because the rates were so weak trying to get out, and it was just such a detriment trying to do that, unless you were able to stack some partials. Legally, of course.
Right.
I'm not recommending book a full truckload and then throw on a 2-pallet partial on the tail. I would never recommend that, folks. That's a very quick way to get into a lot of trouble with a lot of brokers. If you don't know what a freight guard is, you'll earn one real quick.
Right.
If you pull a stunt like that. But I've seen too many bad things take place on the coast. So it surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me if you understand, if you get my drift. I see diesel being a big problem. I feel it, but I think the rest of the industry, why the spike is happening, is not necessarily because of the diesel. That is a small part, but it's more because of the non-domicile CDLs are going out of the industry. And I don't think anyone really knew just how bad the non-domicile CDL issue really is.
They're not paying attention to that right now. They're on the CDL.
Well, I also think in a whole that the business of logistics is just changing. You have this powerhouse called Amazon that is like every day putting up another warehouse and a facility to where companies or these traditional shipping companies, they're going out of business because everything is going through Amazon. The whole promise of next day delivery, 1 day, 2 day delivery, it's just the business of it has changed. And I think a lot of people, including especially people in the box truck space, like they're having to learn a new way to get in, because the traditional way is just it's becoming outdated.
It's interesting you mentioned Amazon, and I've been studying the Amazon problem for over a year when it comes to fraud. It's one of the most heavily double brokered operations out there. What scammers are doing, they're getting their hands on a Amazon relay access of some kind, usually by buying a DOT number that has that access already. And then they book as many loads as they possibly can and double broker the hell out of them. And then you get a ton of drivers who just don't get paid. And that gets to be a huge issue. And I've seen so many box truck guys get railroaded because they end up hauling something Amazon to Amazon. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, if you book a load with a regular broker and it is an Amazon facility to Amazon facility, it is a double brokered load. It is a scam. Okay. Do not bother with it because you won't get paid. I just can't stress that enough. And I think
but they're starting to get more strict on Amazon too. I will tell you that, because I get the emails, like they're getting very strict now. Like now we're having to put in our license plate linked to our truck. Like they're having you do that now. They're doing background checks on our drivers. Like they're doing that as well now too. So now they're also giving us extra reward to connect our motive as well. So I think they're starting to get onto that, because I'm seeing the emails saying you got to do this. Anytime you book a load on Amazon Relay, you got to attach the driver and the truck to each load. Every time, each route that they're doing. So they're getting more strict.
I think that's a good change. The double brokering problem in and of itself was an issue, but it's evolved. It's evolved now into freight theft with typically Amazon loads. When they get stolen, you typically find the semi parked on the side of the road and they're selling pallets at $2,000 a pop. Whatever's on the pallet's yours. I've seen that happen in New York City a couple of times now. So, I mean, the way people are doing things is insane. I even found a story talking about an Amazon load getting stolen. And then the thieves went put it back on Amazon as a seller. So I mean, these guys have gotten so creative at how they go and they try to fence these items. It becomes an utter nightmare. And I'm sorry to say it, when you have a semi pull up and there are two box trucks sitting there waiting for it, that should be a freaking sign.
Yeah.
Red flag.
That should be a red flag, like for real.
Okay, so Telly, you have this new platform called StraightConnect. What is StraightConnect?
So StraightConnect is a platform for phase 1 to connect drivers to carriers and carriers to dispatchers and drivers. What I've seen is people are always in Facebook groups looking to hire drivers, or drivers are looking for carriers. And so I wanted to create a verified platform where everybody, before they can even join and access it, their profile is verified by uploading their US identification and also doing a picture profile. So this is phase 1 of this platform, which is to get drivers, carriers, and dispatchers to join it. And phase 2 will be where I start inviting brokers and shippers where they could post their loads. But really, my whole point for creating this, one, definitely verify resources. I have dispatchers message me all day long. And if I plan to ever hire a dispatcher, I want to hire a dispatcher who is in the United States. And this is something that I've had dispatchers reach out to me, especially when my MC was new and not being very educated and thinking that, hey, they can give me this load. This is what they're telling me, and not realizing that they are not even in the United States. And I found out later that they're not. And to me, they're just looking at the amount of the load and they're getting their percentage, and they're not caring about how my business is operating. And so I can't say I'm going to stop everything, but the only identification that I'm allowing on my platform is US based identification. So if you do not have a US ID, you will not be able to get access. And this is something that I'm starting. It should be launching real soon. I had to go through compliance. So it took a little bit longer, and I just emailed them like, hey, so I just signed the contract. So it should be coming in like the next couple of weeks.
That's fantastic. I look forward to seeing that. I think that's a strong model for the rest of the industry. Facial recognition has been a mainstay in places like Freight Validate for a couple of years now. And now we see FMCSA doing that through ID.me. What platform are you using for your facial recognition?
Persona.
Persona. Does Persona also give you geographical data as to where the person is when they do that check?
Yes, I can also add that on there as well too.
Okay, yeah, it's critical to know that, because you have so many people using VPNs, citing privacy reasons, but the VPN helps to disguise where exactly somebody actually is. I mean, I get it. You know, you use a VPN because you can't access your Pornhub account wherever you are. Come on, get over it, guys.
Well, I will
turn
tell
off
you
the damn VPNs.
that I've tried to access the site when I'm at work. It won't let me, because my job is a global, where I work full time is global. And every time I try to access it, I have to disconnect in order to get on it. So it's not allowing me to even go in, like, at all, like not even access it. Even when Derrick tried to do it, he's like, I can't get in. I'm like, yeah, if you're at work, you probably gonna have to disconnect from their Wi-Fi or something like that, because it was not allow it. But also for the platform, I want to provide resources and education. So that is something that is very important to me, is that people in the industry, somebody like Derrick, who can provide a training to somebody who's on the platform as well too. And I've been working on partnerships with like different factoring companies. I'm looking at talking to different insurance companies, because people are always in Facebook saying, hey, do y'all know where I can find insurance? And we have a group of over 100,000 people. And out of that number, I have no idea who are real profiles, if they're bots or anything like that. But I do know when you ask a question, if you go to your inbox, you're getting bombarded left and right with somebody trying to sell you something. And that's something that I do not want on the platform. I want to create it. If you're looking for it, you just click and look at the resources that is there.
I absolutely love that. And if I were still a dispatcher, I would definitely want to get on your platform and be ready to roll. I think the federal government's going to do us a little bit of help. As you already know, we have the Delilah law is currently on the House floor and being debated. Hopefully, they'll get it passed through before they start talking about their midterm re-elections and all that stuff. We know that's coming. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we can get that pushed through. But that is going to set the stage to eliminate the foreign dispatch service. And I really hope it does. There are two things that I see that are key that can stop that. One, currently, the FMCSA does not have the authority to levy civil fines. At least that was the interpretation of a court last year. So they need to get their ability to levy civil fines again. Two, when this law passes, there has a 1 year grace period for these guys to get out of the business. And after that 1 year, if a carrier is observed utilizing a foreign dispatch service, they can be fined $50,000 per occurrence.
Oh, wow.
50 grand for using a foreign dispatch service. So I'm really hoping that for domestic dispatchers, this becomes a model of not only legitimacy, but to really professionalize the dispatch service. I have been saying for years, as a dispatch service, please, FMCSA, regulate us.
Correct.
Make us have our own authority. Have us really under your microscope so that we can be held accountable. And I think that would do the industry a serious solid, especially in the box truck world. How many guys, like Derrick, when you're running around in your truck, do you have time to go and source your own loads?
Well, I actually have a driver, so I dispatch the driver. But I know exactly what you mean. Yes, there will be no time for that. There will be no ability to do that.
No.
Yeah, so I'm hoping this improves the domestic dispatch market, and not just improve that, but improve the quality of dispatcher out there. Because I know a lot of brokers may be watching this and are cringing because, oh my God, dispatch services, I can't stand dispatch services. But a properly run dispatch service is both a benefit to the carrier and to the broker. It's a wonderful conduit for communications, and it keeps both sides honest and out of trouble.
You should absolutely, if a trucking company has to get a identification number like an MC or a DOT, it should be the same with a dispatch company. Like you should be able to, the FMCSA should be able to come up with something that could label and identify these people that are saying that these people are valid enough to be able to dispatch a truck, whether it's a box truck, a flatbed, a CDL truck. Like it doesn't make any sense to me how they just don't. That should not be an easy fix.
Correct.
Well, having spoken with Derrick Bars on the issue, Derrick Bars being the administrator at the FMCSA, he was very clear that right now FMCSA doesn't have the authority to regulate dispatch services. Dispatch services were never considered in any of the laws that have been written governing the industry. Therefore, FMCSA can't do anything about them as of yet. So it's up to legislators to bring dispatch services into the mix. Like they're dealing with foreign dispatch services, yay. but they need to sit there and deal with the domestic dispatch services too, so they can regulate them. And once they get to that point and there are laws on the books for it, now you can have FMCSA actually put together policies and procedures. Now, FMCSA did put together a list of 7 items that a domestic dispatch service must not do in order to avoid requiring a broker authority. That was back in October of 2023. If you're not familiar with that, make sure you Google FMCSA and dispatch services, and you can get that information. And I've talked about it, I don't know how many times, about what a proper dispatch service should be able to do. But it's critical that FMCSA has the ability to regulate the dispatch service. And with you, Telly, and StraightConnect, now building a conduit between brokers, shippers, and carriers through a dispatch service and verifying those dispatchers, that is a huge step forward, I think, for domestic dispatchers as well as everyone else in the industry. Verification is the key, right?
Correct.
I mean, we keep saying that over and over and over again, and everyone's trying to build a verification system and process to avoid fraud and theft. It can be done very simply.
Yeah.
And that looks like the road that you've taken.
Correct. I mean, to me, I would like to say it doesn't seem that difficult. How they could start regulating dispatchers. I mean, we go through so much regulation on our side. I think once they open up anybody being able to access all of our information, that annoys the heck out of me, because I start getting phone calls left and right. And I'm like, why are y'all not protecting our information? Anybody could look up on the side of our truck and look up our MC and then start calling us at any given moment. And I just think that dispatchers have a place in the transportation industry. I feel like they do. They have a place, they have a job to do, but I feel like people moving freight in the United States need to be in the United States. That is just how I feel. Somebody can agree to disagree with me, but that's just how I feel at the moment. You're over somewhere else. You have no idea what we're dealing with over here. So how are you moving freight? You don't know the constraints.
I can only come up with one group of people that I would say that's the wrong attitude. Only one. That would be military spouses overseas.
Right.
Because I happen to know a couple of military spouses who for them to make spare money, they were dispatching, and then when their spouse gets sent overseas and they go with them, then all of a sudden they're locked out because they're operating from an overseas VPN or an overseas IP address, and of course no one's willing to work with them in many respects. So that kind of hurts them a little bit. I would like to see again an authority of some kind, because you can then differentiate, the American who may be operating from overseas, but who certainly knows the industry.
That's true.
And still give them the opportunity to be able to continue to participate.
But I just think the way they do it for you to start your MC, to me, is just not strict enough, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be naive. I don't know.
I think the other problem with it too, as far as back to the dispatcher portion of it, and I'm not comparing it to it, but I mean, let's look at like a air traffic controller. I mean, they're basically in hence a form of a dispatcher. So they have these regulations and all these things that they have to follow. Same thing with a dispatcher. You're dispatching trucks that are weighted down with all types of weight, that all over different parts of America, and you're sending them out here to deliver loads and all that. Like that all is a safety thing, but they have no liability. And what happens if that truck is overweight, if that truck wreck, if that truck is carrying this, if it's carrying that, they have no liability in it, but they can just easily get in as long as they have a laptop computer and the internet service and just become a dispatcher.
Right.
That's just, it's something to me that just seems to it needs to just have a little bit more regulation, a little bit more like of a thorough process that they have to go through before they can just be like, okay, these people are dispatchers. These people are allowed to be dispatched.
I agree. Because even when I got my business certified, it was harder to get my business certified than it was for me to get my authority. So
Yep.
I'm just like, there needs to be a little bit more, make it a little bit more harder for you to go get an MC and DOT, in my opinion. When I did my certification to become a certified business as a woman-owned small business, you have no idea. I felt like I was giving up my whole life just to get that certification. And I was like, gosh, it was so much easier. I mean, I took 3 attempts to get my business certified. So I think, in my opinion, there needs to be a very much of an overhaul of what they're doing for people, anybody, a carrier, broker, or a dispatcher, to be able to move freight in the United States, in my opinion. It's just too easy, in my opinion. I've done both, and it was easier to get my MC and DOT number. And I'm so
We've all
serious.
we've all ran across people who we know should not be allowed to be moving freight. And we,
Oh, no, without a doubt. The barriers to entry have been set so low because of the myth of a lack of drivers that it just really caused all kinds of problems. That and FMCSA failing to modernize to keep up with what's going on across the industry. Hopefully, Modus, their new registration system, is going to correct a lot of that. Now they're doing the facial recognition. They're doing some form of background check. They're doing all these different things to make sure that whoever's registering is actually an American. Of course, that's only registering. Once they're in the system, we still have to deal with the problem. It's still a cancer we have to figure out how to root out. But you definitely hit the nail on the head when it comes to the low bar for entering into this space. And dispatch services are the same way. To start a dispatch service, you frankly, you can get away with not having anything.
Right.
You can even get away doing it without an actual business entity to get started.
Exactly.
That's a horrible way to start. Having the business entity, having insurance, okay? And I know a lot of states don't require insurance for businesses like that. But if you have general liability and you have errors and omissions coverage, errors and omissions, that's E&O, if you have that coverage, that really legitimizes you as a business. And for the love of God, don't use Gmail.
There's more of a registration and a process to become a notary than it is to become a dispatch.
Yeah, it is.
It literally is. There's more litigation and everything for people who are notaries, just a regular notary public, than it is to become a dispatcher. And that's wow. It's crazy.
I'm like, they don't really need to do much to do it. Dispatching.
So it's very easy to get into it, and I think that's why you have a lot of these foreigners that are in this space trying to make money off it, because there is such a low barrier to entry. But the government needs to step in. The government needs to do something to help stem the tide. I think the Lila's Law is a good start, but it's a start. And unless you can enforce it, then it's just words. And that's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see that there's a mechanism for enforcement to push the foreign dispatchers out.
Correct. Yeah. That definitely needs to be more regulations around that, because, like I said, I feel like dispatchers are needed for those who need them, but it turns people off from it because of all of the foreign dispatchers out there bombarding us on a regular basis. So if there is one who would approach me that is here, I'm already like, I don't even want to talk to you. Don't bother me. I've already have dispatchers that I've built relationships with, that I've met. I know, I see their work. And I just think dispatchers are getting a bad rap because of that. I think, like you said, that Gmail, what is your brand? I can't take you serious if you're reaching out to me and telling me about loads and you're emailing me with a Gmail. I'm already like, I'm good. So, I just think that there should be some type of regulation. And again, anybody who's gone through certifications, we have to give you too much paperwork for it not to be the same for getting your MC authority. It should be on that same level, in my opinion. The amount of paperwork I had to send I had to send my birth certificate to prove I was a minority Black woman. You understand what I'm saying? I had to send my birth certificate, and my birth certificate didn't even say it on there. So I had to go find something else to prove that I am a Black woman, and it's on my ID. So these are things that I'm having to do to even be certified as a small business. That getting my MC, I didn't even have to prove I was in the United States. So to me, there needs to be a lot done on that end, in my opinion, to make this stricter.
I feel you. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think the industry knows what the right answer is. And that's where I think the biggest issue has come in. Once this industry finally gets the right laws and rules and enforcement in place, I think we can finally put ourselves in a position to set things right.
Right.
The problem is with impersonation, both the brokers, carriers, even shippers now, we're going to have a hard time dealing with this issue.
So is the same issue with this with brokers who are not located in the U.S. as well too?
The law doesn't specifically talk about that, but I would hope that would have some kind of an impact. Now, I do happen to know there are plenty of brokerages out there who, in order to Derrick, you trying to bring yourself back on? Can you see us?
Yeah, like you frozen.
There we go. I think your other. There we go. Well, I had to fix that. Sorry about that. I think a lot of these brokers have foreign, what they would call dispatchers, but basically customer sales guys, so that they can maintain 24/7 operations. Okay, I know of a lot of brokers who have connections in Eastern Europe, have employees based in Eastern Europe, just because they want to have that 24-hour coverage. I get that.
Right.
Is that going to impact them? I don't know. I mean, give me a break. I do feel like sometimes it's the pot kettle situation. Okay, you tell me that if I'm operating from overseas, you're going to freight guard me. Okay, yet you've got people overseas that you hire to do this. I even know brokerages that have outsourced their entire carrier sales team overseas. You know.
Yeah, and they're broker agents as well, because sometimes you call a broker and you're like, wait a minute, is this really them? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're going to regulate where dispatchers can operate, are you going to do the same for brokers and carriers? Can a carrier have an MC leasing trucks out and they're not located in the U.S.? Should they be in the United States? I mean, to me, that don't just look at one part of the industry, look at the industry as a whole. That's just my opinion.
I completely get that. And it makes me wonder, where is this industry going? You know, we were talking earlier this morning on another show. Everyone would like to get back to the old days. There's just one problem. The old days didn't have the internet. It didn't have a constant flow of influencers and podcasters.
I can't hear the
out
host
there
anymore.
Oh, you can't hear?
I can't hear him. I can hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, he can't hear you.
Okay, can you still hear me, Telly?
I can.
Oh boy. Derrick, I think that's on your end. You might want to log out, log back in.
He said you probably want to log out and log back in. It might be on your end.
Okay, let me try it.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. It really is.
I think outsourcing has this right spot. Don't get me wrong. I think outsourcing has its right spot. I just hired me a virtual assistant. You know, it has the right spot to me, but I think there has to be some type of regulation, in my opinion. You shouldn't just be able to go create a MC and DOT and start posting on Indeed that you're offering lease on services for you to lease on to their MC, and you're not even here to even see what truck they have. How can you see the truck that they're running in? You don't know. You're not even here. So when I went through my safety inspection, I mean, that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to look at the truck physically and make sure you do a roadside test with your driver. So if you're leasing on these people and you're not in the United States, how are you doing that? So, I mean, I don't get it.
Damn good questions. Damn good questions. I really do hate to do this. I've got emergencies brewing right now. I don't know why this always seems to happen. It seems like my employer suddenly needs me desperately.
It's okay.
Once I
think we
go
had a
live.
good conversation.
It's part of life, man. Part of life.
You know, the good news is you had a chance to plug StraightConnect. Love what you're talking about doing with this. And I can't wait to see this actually come to fruition. You said you should be able to launch in the next couple of weeks?
Correct. I actually sent you the link so you can check it out, because I definitely want your opinion from the fraud, the double broker bounty hunter. I want your opinion on it. So once it go live, I will ask you to join and let me know what you think so I can make sure I create it securely before I start into phase 2, which is brokers and shippers, because that is something that I definitely want to add. But yes, it should be up and going in the next couple of weeks. If you could please get the word out that it's there. It's strictly for the box truck industry only. Strictly for that. It's not for semis. It's not for sprinter vans. It's not for gooseneck. It's box truck only.
Fair. I could certainly appreciate that. Derrick, you have any final thoughts or plugs that you want to make?
No plugs outside of the Box Truck Hustle podcast. Tune into that weekly every Tuesday. Hey, we're here, man. We here talking the real.
Yeah. Tune in.
Okay. Telly, anything else on your end?
Just like Derrick said, I would love for people to tune into the Box Truck Hustle podcast. We are streaming on Apple, Spotify. We are on Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on all platforms to listen. So I would appreciate all the support we can get. And we're always looking for guests.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. I do apologize for cutting it short.
No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week we are going to have a very interesting show. It's regarding a woman who's in a one-woman crusade against some of the giants of the industry. Be watching out for that one. It's going to be interesting.
I'll be watching.
Your check is on the table. Be sure to tip out your server, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
At the Tic Toc Diner.
Thank you.